Again, a confirmed tornado on the ground in downtown Conyers. This is a very dangerous and life-threatening weather event. Get into the interior section of your house, away from windows or a basement if you have. And there's the debris right there in the Millstead area near the Rockdale Medical Center. Right. Channel 1 Atlanta.
Welcome. You're tuned in to Channel 1 Atlanta News. I'm Stephen AI, your digital news anchor. Thanks for choosing us as your news source. Here's a glimpse at what's making headlines this half hour.
The fence torn down and, people just trying to get around all of the debris in downtown Houston. We showed you through Micah Hatfield how quiet it is there tonight as they have many of those streets blocked off due to the debris that is strewn everywhere, down trees, power lines, street signs, and yes, even buildings partially destroyed. And so we're going to continue to bring you the images of what has happened here in the last couple of hours. We do expect to hear from Houston Mayor John Whitmire here within the hour. So we will let you know when we do hear from him. We'll take that live for you to hear what he has to say about what's happening this evening. Stay with us.
They kind of just came in overnight and just put it up.
Major change after Action 13 exposed the company's lack of customer communication.
We called today and you guys were out here helping us.
They contacted ABC 13. We reached out to the right authorities.
They see it as a joke. It's really dangerous.
It wasn't until we reached out that they took down that broken pole that was right here and replaced it with this brand new one.
Thank you for coming out here to do the story. If you guys hadn't come or been involved, we would still be with this issue.
He needs pants.
Got it.
Come on, let's go. Hustle.
The stroller?
Double stroller.
This is the ABC 13 Eyewitness News at 9 on the CW39.
Thanks for staying with us this half hour. Our chief forecaster, David Tillman, has all of the information you need to remain safe this evening and prepare yourself for tomorrow, because a lot of people will have damage in the yard, damage in their neighborhood streets, and we are continuing to track what's going on with our weather situation as we are getting through the night and waiting for the sun to come up.
From a weather standpoint, it's pretty much over for us. That intense line of thunderstorms is moving to the east, but when you do get out there tomorrow, take it easy, because there's probably still going to be tree branches down everywhere. There could even be some power lines still down on your way to work tomorrow, and maybe even some water in some places. There's a look at that intense line of storms moving through southwest Louisiana right now. There's several tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings in effect to the east and southeast of Lake Charles. The last of the rain is still hitting parts of Galveston Island at this time. There's some lightning and thunder there. This is not severe as we look at the wide shot over southeast Texas. Just what we want to see. We want to see the skies drying out there, and that's exactly what is happening. Future Track says that as we go through the rest of the night, that line of thunderstorms will continue moving to the east, and look at what we get tomorrow. It won't be anywhere near as intense as what we had today, and it's basically going to hug our coastal counties. Some of that might reach up into the city of Houston at 40%, 20% on the north side of Harris County. Virtually no rain is going to fall between College Station and Livingston, where they really need a break. 40% for tomorrow, nothing but sunshine as we head into the weekend. We'll have more details straight ahead.
Was your drive like this today? Wow. Video from Shanna Gonzalez. It was downtown as the storm was hitting here. This is everything and what it looked like downtown after that storm moved through. So clearly she's in the downtown area waiting at a light. And then afterward, you just see all of the damage that's there. Not just one or two, but just, some of these large high rises, they practically look like checkerboards because of all of the glass that is out. And of course, that glass there along the street right now, which is why so many of those downtown streets are closed, the glass and debris coating these streets. And we do have a look at some of the damage. We had reporters out across the area today. Our Ches Miller gives us a look at what he saw. All right, we'll get back to that later. And so right now, we do want to go ahead and see that report right now.
Yeah, we're over here on Louisiana and Polk. I'm going to step out of the way and let you guys see exactly what we've seen out here for about the last hour or so. You can see glass in the street. Over across the street from where we're at right now is the Hyatt Regency. You can see people outside of the Hyatt sweeping glass up off that sidewalk. Now, we talked to a few people who were staying inside of there. They said that when the storm came through, a lot of them that we talked to happened to be in the bar or in the restaurant down there. They said the staff helped them out. They got everybody to safe ground, and that everybody that they know of, thankfully, was okay. But they said it was a tense few minutes there inside of that hotel. And you talk about a tense few minutes. We've been downtown for a while tonight. We're outside of Minute Maid Park, actually, around 6 o'clock, and it wasn't even raining. By 6:30, it got dark, and then by 6:45, the wind took off, and you could really see the effects of this storm. And so you can see what it did on this side of downtown. There's glass blown out of all of these buildings down here. You can see one right there. We know that some glass at the top of the Hyatt, the roof actually, that broke, and so they've had to clean up some of the stuff in the lobby as well. But really, there's people just walking around here taking a look at all of this. There's glass everywhere, and even some of the HPD officers that were here earlier were wearing helmets just because they said that that glass continued to fall. Now, thankfully, we haven't seen that as people are out here cleaning up. But as somebody who stood here for a lot of this weather in downtown, we can tell you this. It came in pretty quickly in terms of the high wind and left pretty quickly. But in that short amount of time, it did quite a bit of damage. So this is what downtown looks like right now over where we're at, close to HPD headquarters on Polk and Louisiana, and we will continue to keep an eye on what's going on down here. Until then, in downtown, I'm Ches Miller, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Such a well-known hotel, just incredible to see it like that. This is a live picture right now. We are awaiting a news conference from the city of Houston, Mayor John Whitmire, on next steps after what has happened during this deadly storm. We mentioned that the city had confirmed to us 4 fatalities during this thunderstorm. Intense winds causing plenty of damage, heavy rain. And so, as you can imagine, we know that at one location it was a home off of North Main. Our Shannon Ryan was there reporting that the medical examiner was on scene, as well as loved ones that were incredibly upset arriving. So we'll hear more about the details, perhaps, of exactly what has happened, as 4 people have lost their lives in the storm. But we are again awaiting a news conference from the city of Houston to talk about the storm moving through this evening. Want to mention as well, Houston ISD, that is closed for tomorrow because of what has happened this evening. You're taking a look at a home video camera of the intense wind and rain just rolling through in the Katy area. And yes, that's how it started. We began to see things come down to 90 at Highway 99. It first really entered the metro area there and then swept across the city rather quickly, but bringing with it intense rains, getting that destructive thunderstorm warning designation. This is when we really began to get an indication here. This is our TransStar camera from that moment that things were going to be pretty intense. This is State Highway 99, not too far off 290. We could see the clouds get dark and that lightning, just with those intense lightning strikes. That's what a lot of people are describing. Just that was their first indication that things were going to be very troublesome. And then, of course, a lot of our cameras just shaking and eventually going out due to the intensity. And the high winds, they do things like this. They can turn over entire 18-wheelers, especially if the 18-wheeler is not carrying a huge load. They're very unstable as opposed to when they're fully loaded. And so we don't have any information on what was inside this one. But again, this is a video from someone that sent it to us just driving by that 18-wheeler on its side due to the intense wind. And this is at Minute Maid Park tonight. You know, the Astros played the A's tonight, the end of a 4-game set. A lot of people were really excited to go out to the ballpark, but unfortunately, we were not seeing just rain come through the roof at Minute Maid Park, which we've seen before. There was wind coming through, I suppose, the cracks or the joints in the glass that were blowing the flag. And so to see that, you know how intense it must have been, not just to have the rain coming through, but the wind whipping through downtown. We saw the damage that it did in other areas. So glad we don't have any reports right now that anybody was injured there at Minute Maid Park. This is College Station. Boy, what a difficult drive. From our storm tracker, Jaime Garcia, people trying to get through this rain. And we did have indication that the weather would be very intense today. Our team declared it an ABC 13 weather alert day, letting everybody know to really watch the forecast. But this is something that really ramped up as it moved through. They could see how difficult people in College Station were having, what a difficult time they were having with all of this. And so they began to warn as we moved into that evening drive that it was going to be rough for us, and it certainly was. Huntsville also experiencing a huge part of this line of thunderstorms. This is an area that does not need more rain, right? We have seen plenty of rain. People flooded out of their homes in the Huntsville, Livingston area. But this line definitely touched that part of our area between Houston and Dallas. UT, the baseball field, the outfield fence blown down by that heavy wind as it moved across central Texas before it got to us. And so we did see that in some areas. We saw some of that in Prairie View as well. And also the storms damaging the baseball stadium there, blowing the outfield fence down. And crews were able to make repairs before tonight's game. So that is the good news for those Longhorns out there. We have more for you tonight. We are awaiting a news conference from the city of Houston. And as we await that, we'll take a quick break and be back in a moment.
There is a storm coming, an event like the world has never seen before. The emerging event will have little to do with weather, but more about developing situations that were foreseen many years ago. We have always warned you during severe weather and news events that affected many. Now, Channel 1 Atlanta begins a new series to warn you about what's coming soon and make sure you are prepared. Join us on a new journey, as according to a recent survey, a lot of people believe we are living in the last days. Current news events show us now more than ever. In history, time is setting the stage for the coming storm. A new series, now playing only on Channel 1 Atlanta.
A confirmed tornado on the ground in downtown Conyers. It's a very dangerous and life-threatening weather event. Get into the interior section of your house, away from windows or a basement if you have. And there's the debris right there in the Mill State area near the Rockdale Medical Center. Channel Atlanta.
I hear it's all over Houston, not just here. So, I live downtown and I've worked downtown for years, and I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, this is Vine Street in downtown. We found Christopher Ramos, who says that uprooted trees narrowly missed his truck.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. I really don't know what passed by. People were saying like a tornado. But yeah, something powerful enough to rip this tree off the ground. Some guy came in, told me about this, and I came out, I'm like, wow, like, it's crazy, you know? It just missed it.
Just pulled it right up from the ground. He is one of the lucky ones. We have seen trees down on people's homes and vehicles, and indeed 4 people have lost their lives in this storm. Let's go right to the city of Houston, where they are updating us on the latest this evening. Mayor John Whitmire.
Miles per hour winds, the equivalent of Hurricane Ike. Considerable damage downtown. Glass. If you're at the concert in Toyota Stadium tonight, or even Minute Maid, if you're still there after an Astro game, do not go west through downtown. Enter through I-10 or work your way to 45 to leave downtown. All the city departments are working tonight. It'll be a long night. The first responders are doing what they've trained to do. We had firefighters taking live wires off of 290 this afternoon that was blocking thoroughfares. The real problem we have right now is traffic control. Most of the traffic lights across the city are down, and they'll be down for considerable hours. We've got over 900 CenterPoint customers without electricity tonight. I ask everyone to be patient. Look out for your neighbors. It'll take 24 hours for a lot of this power to be restored. Some will require 48 hours. So we're in a recovery mode. If you have a true emergency, call 911. There's a backlog of calls as I talk to you tonight. We'll be working through the night to handle that backlog. But the real emphasis tonight is stay at home. Do not travel on the roads. It's dark. There's trees across roadways across Houston. So be very patient, cautious, look out for one another. Stay at home tonight. Don't go to work tomorrow unless you're an essential worker. There is no HISD school tomorrow. Stay at home, take care of your children. Let us know if you are in an emergency situation. Our first responders will be working around the clock. We're working closely with our county commissioners. They're out helping us with the saws and clearing debris from our thoroughfares. The state of Texas is sending us DPS officers to secure downtown, freeing up HPD to make calls. We're concerned about the dangers of downtown glass. The lights are out, the traffic lights are out, so the DPS is going to relieve HPD later tonight to secure downtown, allowing HPD to make emergency calls. I can't thank our first responders enough. Houston Fire, Houston Police, our EMS, everyone's coming together. That's what we do best in Houston. So let's get through this challenge. It's going to be 24 hours, 48 hours in some instances for the power to be returned. We're looking for locations now for individuals that are on dialysis or fragile care. We're going to have openings of either multi-service centers. We're in the process, as I talk, to find secure, safe locations for those that find themselves homeless, without power, that need medical assistance. With that, I don't think there's much more I can tell you, except we had 80, 90, and 100 miles per hour storm come through here, some twisters mixed into this strong wind. Pretty much citywide, but an emphasis on Northwest Houston, the Heights, the Central Business District, and the East Side. So take care of your neighbor, your family, your pets, and let's go forward. Any questions? If not, Chief Satterwhite, anything you need to reinforce that I've mentioned?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. You really said the most important things, which is to stay home where you're safe. It is, it's now dark outside. Power is out. Lights are out. This is where we have a lot of additional crashes and things like that because people can't tell when an intersection is coming up, and then it's not controlled, and that's where cars collide. What you do when you go out on that roadway and you are potentially adding additional challenges, for first responders who are already trying to take care of those people who have been impacted. So, this is a partnership or a request with you and the public to help us by honoring what the mayor's request is, staying home, and just also for those of you that have businesses that you feel like possibly were damaged or something like that, and you're concerned about the security around that, we have extra patrols out there. We're going to be patrolling shopping centers. We're going to be patrolling dark areas of Houston. We're going to be patrolling things like pawn shops and anything else. We're out there, so take that assurance, take care of your family, and then by tomorrow when daylight comes, then we can start getting a better assessment for everybody. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Chief Pena to give us a status report of his first responders. I can't tell you enough about how courageous the firefighters were that endangered their lives to get live wires off of 290 so people could get to a safe location. Also, I'm going to ask him to translate our concerns to our citizens.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Mayor. I think the mayor covered it all. We had a fast-moving, strong storm that hit the general area here in the city of Houston. We have widespread damaged areas. As he mentioned, the safest thing to do is stay home. The majority of our calls have been gas leaks and down wires. Okay? If you smell gas inside your home, please leave the area and dial 911 from the outside. Especially if the power is down, when that comes up, inside your home, it could be potentially hazardous. So please call 911 if there is a smell of gas, but do so outside of that building. As the mayor mentioned, if you don't need to be on the roads, stay home. There's widespread debris on the roads. Some areas are without any power, no light. It's hard to see as you're driving. Don't cause more hazards for yourselves and any of the emergency workers that are out in the street. Houston Fire is participating and collaborating with all city departments, as the mayor mentioned, to ensure that we can clear some of this debris, make a proper assessment of the damaged areas, and start the recovery process. So we'll be engaged throughout the night. Our firefighters, police officers, public works are doing an amazing job to get the recovery phase underway, and so we appreciate their work. In Spanish, como dice el alcalde Whitmire,
to recap what we've already been talking about this evening, they have a backlog of 911 calls, and so they are now trying to get around to everybody that has called them for assistance. They say the majority of those have been gas leaks, downed wires. There are widespread power outages at this point. Downtown, certainly not drivable. So they are emphasizing greatly that they would like people to stay home because it's so dark, where they know you will be safe, with the exception of those that might smell gas and might need to leave their home immediately. So they are emphasizing that without HISD in class tomorrow, they are hoping that people will be able to stay home, look after their families. And again, they are definitely saying that it's not safe to drive across downtown. There's too much glass, too much debris. They're urging anybody in the downtown area to kind of get out on the edges of downtown. So instead of crossing to get on your favorite entrance ramp, you want to just take I-10, I-45 if perhaps you're leaving the Toyota Center or Minute Maid Park area at this hour. So that is the latest word we have from Mayor John Whitmire and his leadership staff. We are going to
As the Chief mentioned, all the city departments. We have Public Works, we have Sanitation will start immediately to help us clear the debris. But I can't emphasize enough the danger of fallen trees and fallen utility wires. You have to be sensitive to that. So stay at home. It's dark. You'll come upon it without notice. And it also allow the first responders to do their job. So with that said, I'm going to take the team and go back to work. Yes, sir.
And we're going to go ahead and take a quick break now. But again, additional injuries can happen if you're out and the debris is in the way, and more accidents can happen, and that's what they really want to avoid. Stay with us here on Eyewitness News. We'll be right back.
Welcome. You're tuned into Channel 1 Atlanta News. I'm Stephen AI, your digital news anchor. Thanks for choosing us as your news source. Here's a glimpse at what's making headlines this half hour.
No power tonight. We are live to get you through all of this here in 30 seconds.
These days, everyone's staring at screens and watching their spending. Good vision is more important than ever, but so is saving. That's why America's Best includes a
Whenever it does go up, we'll be good.
Businesses like Tiger Harry's, a seafood restaurant loved by locals, worry another round of rain will set back recovery efforts even more.
It's a lot of work.
Workers there are salvaging what they can before nearby...
On North Main and the Loop.
Downtown destruction. Tonight, it looks like a war zone. Glass blown out of buildings, streets littered with debris, trees and poles knocked over.
And we just got this picture in from inside the Wells Fargo building right on Louisiana. That office desk blasted with glass from that window.
We'll take a look at this as well. We've also got a picture of the Wedge International Tower at Louisiana and Bell. The floor floor-to-ceiling windows blown out. The winds tossing furniture and ripping parts of the ceiling down. The city tonight telling people to stay home tonight and don't go to work tomorrow if possible. HISD and several other school districts closed tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Barajas.
And I'm Mayra Moreno. We hope you are somewhere safe tonight. And now we want to bring in our chief forecaster, David Tillman. It seems like the worst is over, David, but boy.
The worst is over, yeah, but I'm calling this the worst non-hurricane windstorm over the last 25 years to hit the city of Houston in at least that long. The line of thunderstorms has now moved to the east, coming up on Baton Rouge, Louisiana right now. The rain we get tomorrow is not going to be a big deal. I'll have more on that coming up.
All right, we'll check back with you momentarily, David. Thanks a lot. All right, well, let's get to our first live report here with ABC 13's Micah Hatfield with what she's seeing in downtown Houston. We've already seen some crazy video come out of there, Micah.
Eric, we were down here at 6:30 this evening, when the storm rolled through, and it was scary, to say the least. After the wind and the rain finally stopped, you got to really get a look at what happened, what was left behind in downtown Houston. And I heard you describe it earlier, Eric, as a war zone. And that is the absolute truth. I want to show you the Wells Fargo building just up here behind me. The windows have been blown out of this building. And think about it, this was all occurring at 6:30 this evening. People were still in these buildings when this happened. As the glass was falling onto the streets, people were driving through the streets of downtown. They were walking, such a pedestrian-heavy area of our city. And I've heard that people, were narrowly missing getting hit by glass. There are a lot of streets closed in downtown right now. We are at the corner of Louisiana and Walker. Houston police were frantically putting up cones and crime scene tape earlier, trying to stop people from walking past these buildings, because as the wind was expected to pick up again, they were concerned that the glass was going to fall and hit people. It was chaotic down here, to say the least, after all of the weather finally died down. There's glass all over the streets. There are trees that have just been ripped out of the ground by their roots. We have one right here in front of us. Just stunning. I want you to watch some video that we got actually from someone who was inside of this building that we're next to here at the corner of Louisiana and Walker as the storm rolled through, so you can see just how powerful it was.
Downstairs, 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 downstairs.
Do that again.
Downstairs, 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 downstairs.
Absolutely stunning how strong the wind was. And like I said, we were down here at the time. The sky was blue, everything was fine, and the next thing you know, that is what was happening down here. We spoke to a couple people, one guy who was out surveying the damage and one guy who was on the 25th story of a building when this happened. Take a listen to what they told us.
This thing just blew right through. The sound was amazing and incredible.
And what did it sound like?
It sounded like a freight train coming through here. And the damage down here is just amazing. I've never seen anything like this, even with the hurricanes that have been down here.
What hurricanes would you?
I don't think Ike was this bad, and any other major storms that were down here, because every building seems to have been damaged. There's so much glass and the trees and everything been toppled off.
Everywhere you look, there is glass on the roads. It feels very post-apocalyptic down here, not to be dramatic, but that's really the feeling. It's a little different now, since it seems like maybe a concert or something got out and there's a little more traffic, but the roads were basically empty earlier, and there's just down trees. The cars that were parked on the side of the street, none of them had any glass. We spoke to a guy earlier who told us that the window blew out of his car in downtown while he was sitting inside of it. He was visibly shaking. I mean, this has just been quite the event in downtown Houston, and I imagine it's going to take a while to get it back to the way it was just earlier this afternoon. Eric and Mayra, back to you.
Unbelievable interview, unbelievable video. Wow. Micah, thank you. And of course, the damage we've seen tonight widespread far beyond downtown.
Yes, it really is everywhere right now. So we want to go to our Luke Jones. He's off of Bingle in the Spring Branch area. Luke, what are you seeing on your side?
So we're right here at Hempstead, and take a look at this. This is what remains of Eden's Tire Shop. It was Eden's Tire Shop until about 6 o'clock this evening. You could see the entire building just blown over. And if you look at this building here with the stack of tires, so there were 2 men inside at the time, the owner and one of his workers. They say the roof actually blew down on top of them. But before we get to that part of the story, I also want to draw your attention to this postal van right here. It happened to be parked outside at the time, and we are told by police there was a woman inside. Thankfully, she managed to get out and wasn't injured. And that man and his employee, they weren't injured either inside the tire shop. They say it was actually the way the tires were stacked that prevented the roof from coming down on top of them. We spoke to them just a few minutes ago. Go ahead and take a listen to a portion of that interview.
We have a full set, we put it together, and then we put double set, it's got the height like that, and then the ceiling hit the tire, but not us. It's hard because it's my work for like 2.5 years, my family business, and it's hard, really hard.
Hey guys, you can't even get down Bingle tonight. I'm not sure if we could show any of this, but the way this building came down, it actually landed right in the center of the street. I mean, all of these lanes are blocked off in both directions. We also have lots of power lines down at the moment. They're down on the ground. They're hanging through there, and so it's just a complete mess at the moment. The road's completely blocked off, and as you can see, very little left at this tire shop here. It looks to be a total loss. We'll throw it back to you for now. We're live in Spring Branch. Luke Jones, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
I mean, we are just really have no words to say with all of this. Thank you, Luke. And right now, several school districts are closed tomorrow, including HISD, Cy-Fair, Goose Creek, CISD, Channel View ISD, and Our Lady of Guadalupe School in the East End. We do have a full list of these closures on ABC13.com and our news app.
All right, let's get over to Chief Forecaster David Tillman for a breakdown on this. And David, look, the storm moved across the southeast Texas area in about 2 to 3 hours, moving at about 40 miles an hour. But these were almost hurricane-type damage that we're seeing across the area.
Yeah, and it's because we had 60 to 80 plus mile-an-hour winds over about a 15 to 20 mile wide area that moved right through the core of the city. As that was happening, the National Weather Service not only issued some tornado warnings for some kind of fine-scale rotations there, but for that large area of damaging wind, they issued what's called a destructive thunderstorm warning. They issue that anytime you get baseball-sized hail or larger, or 80 plus mile per hour winds, and that's exactly what we had come through the city. Guess what? The intense line of that storm that came through Houston is moving into the Baton Rouge area as we speak, with tornado warnings and destructive thunderstorm warnings. So that storm system is still holding together well east of us over south central parts of Louisiana. Back into southeast Texas, the last of the rain is pulling away from the coast at this particular time, and there's no more significant rain anywhere in southeast Texas. We certainly do need a break. As we get to first thing tomorrow morning, things are going to be quiet out there, but there will be some scattered showers and maybe a clap of thunder moving along parts of our upper Texas coast, especially from Houston down to the south. Not expecting to see much at all rainfall to the north of Houston, a place that really needs a break. We'll talk more about what we have coming tomorrow and what's coming up for the weekend in your forecast in just a bit.
All right, David, thank you so much. And right now we want to show you more amazing video that we're getting here into our newsroom. So you're looking at the videos showing the damage of today's storm. Of course, more windows blown out of these high rises. This is at the Heritage Plaza.
Yeah, video just keeps coming into our newsroom. This is video of a bar downtown that was severely damaged. Okay, and of course there is widespread damage we've been looking at. We've also had the mayor. He's activated his emergency unit. We heard from him earlier. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Stay at home. Do not travel on the roads. It's dark. There's trees across roadways across Houston. So be very patient, cautious, look out for one another. Stay at home tonight. Don't go to work tomorrow unless you're an essential worker.
For those of you that have businesses that you feel like possibly were damaged or something like that, and you're concerned about the security around that, we have extra patrols out there. We're going to be patrolling shopping centers. We're going to be patrolling dark areas of Houston. We're going to be patrolling things like pawn shops and anything else. We're out there, so take that assurance, take care of your family, and then by tomorrow when daylight comes, then we can start getting a better assessment for everybody.
And again, just a very fluid situation still here in the greater Houston area. As we heard our officials say, basically just stay home tomorrow. A lot of folks without power, so they need to make sure to get out there and get everyone situated. But so intense, 4 people, unfortunately, lost their lives.
And you hear they're going to be doing patrols tonight to protect businesses without power right now.
Yeah.
But hey, as we head to break, take a look at some storm damage. This is from the Katy area. Video of downed trees and roof damage just after the storm.
What's up at DQ? That guy's going fry first on a $7 meal deal. Ooh, or is it dessert first? These two are debating which $7 meal deal, with fries, drink, and a sundae, is the best full-size meal deal of all.
Cheeseburger.
Chicken strips.
And he can't believe he got a full-size meal for just $7.
Can't believe I got a full-size meal for just $7.
That's a $7 meal deal, and that's what's up at DQ. Happy tastes good.
You're feeling peanut buttery. Very peanut buttery. Uh-oh, now I'm feeling peanut buttery. Poppable M&M's Peanut Butter Minis.
Start your day the Houston way.
Like tacos or kolaches for breakfast.
That's the Houston way.
How about 145 languages spoken in one city? That's the Houston way.
Sending a rocket to the moon. That's the Houston way.
And lift off.
Stormy 1 minute, sunny the next. Now that's the Houston way.
And watching ABC 13 Eyewitness News, that's been the Houston way for decades. You, your parents, even your parents' parents. Start your day the Houston way with ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Or call 800-317-6312.
Welcome back, Fox Weather. We're your Hurricane HQ, and we're in day 2 of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season. And guess what? We got now 2 spots that we're watching. This new one started to develop, disturbance number 1.
There is a storm coming, an event like the world has never seen before. The emerging event will have little to do with weather, but more about developing situations that were foreseen many years ago. We have always warned you during severe weather and news events that affected many. Now, Channel 1 Atlanta begins a new series to warn you about what's coming soon and make sure you are prepared. Join us on a new journey, as according to a recent survey, a lot of people believe we are living in the last days. Current news events show us now more than ever. In history, time is setting the stage for the coming storm. A new series, now playing only on Channel 1 Atlanta.
Which are still trying to recover from that brutal and devastating Hurricane Otis as a Cat 5 storm. If it does come to fruition as a named storm this weekend, again, it's going to be Aletta there as you're looking at the lane.
Well, the images as you drive up and down this area, and as that storm rolled through, it was terrifying for people here in this area as they listened and hid in terror.
As the wild weather whipped through Houston, neighbors brace for the mid-May storm.
I was freaked out. No, it was scary. I was scared like the roof was gonna get torn off. I was scared something's gonna...
On record there for Mexico, and also the costliest hurricane, which means they are easily in that recovery.
The intense winds tossed trees along Heights Boulevard, making it hard to navigate. Neighbors stepped outside not just to see what happened, because there wasn't much to do inside without power. At this restaurant, the winds toppled tables.
It was a mess, like a train had just run over everything in sight. Someone had picked up everything, just throwing everything across and broke everything.
Damaged a lot, including several homes. Kids sat in horror inside as the roof above them was ripped off.
We think part of our roof is gone because all those pieces right there, pretty kind of gone.
The rainfall made a mess too. Drivers not only had to maneuver around downed trees, but flooded streets in the Heights. Hurricane-type destruction that they know will take days to clean.
Caught us all by surprise, trying to enjoy dinner and serve some people. And next thing you know, this hurricane, little mini hurricane, just swipes through and breaks everything.
It certainly did. You can see the destruction that it caused, and truly, you don't want...
It can actually start to bring in the prevailing flow more out of the south and the southwest, and that can enhance the rain on the sides of the mountains where they don't typically see that much. Hawaii Governor Josh Green has signed an emergency proclamation in response to that Kona low flooding, and we may not be done yet here, guys, because The next couple of days, you can see we've still got flood watches that are out for basically every island except the Big Island. And generally, as we get further on in time, kind of deeper through the weekend, things are going to shift farther and farther toward the west. So this is going to become less of a problem for the central islands, more of a problem out in Kauai. We've still got more rain to go, okay? So just don't sleep on this one yet. It's not over. Anytime we get this Kona low, you know, depending on what time of year it is, sometimes it can end up with, you know, big time snow up in the high terrain on the big mountain.
Same areas seem to keep getting stuck in.
And what you're looking at now is a business just a few blocks away on North Shepherd and West 11th Street. That's an insurance company's building. You can see the front facade is heavily damaged, and there's also a side brick exterior wall, and it appears that the wind just shredded away that brick wall. So we're talking about damage that typically you would see during a tornado or a hurricane. We do want to let you know, Meyer and Eric, a lot of neighborhoods here in the Heights area are in the black, a lot of power outages, but still we've seen people walking around trying to look at some of the damage. Just be very careful because there's a lot of downed trees, a lot of downed branches, and even some downed power lines too. Reporting live tonight in the Heights neighborhood of Houston, Kevin Osbeck, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Great look at the damage there, Kevin. Thanks a lot. And of course, what we need now is a break in the weather for a few days.
Yeah, we really do. Chief Forecaster David Tillman standing by. Do you have any good news for us, David?
I have a lot of good news for us as far as the weather goes, because I don't have any destructive straight line winds or tornado warnings or anything like that in the extended forecast. Even this 40% chance coming up tomorrow is going to be basically light to moderate rain with maybe a clap of thunder. I'll show that to you coming up in just a moment. And then for the most part, we've got a dry spell coming up this weekend and early next week. We do have a 20% chance in as we head to next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That 40% is basically from Houston down towards the coast, 20% for Northwest Harris County, and virtually no rain is going to fall from College Station to Huntsville to Livingston, places that really don't need the rain. Now, that was a destructive thunderstorm that came through southeast Texas. It's the highest level of severe thunderstorm that we can give you, and that's issued whenever there's an 80-mile-an-hour wind either being observed or expected. That same thing is about to move into Baton Rouge as we speak. ABC 13 weather radar showing that intense line of thunderstorms, the same one that came through here, is moving through Baton Rouge and Dallasonville and is basically heading towards Hammond and eventually New Orleans, Louisiana this evening. Again, a destructive thunderstorm warning in effect for that particular area for this line of storms that is moving through there. Back to southeast Texas, things are really quieting down. The last of the thunderstorms are off the coast now, moving away from Galveston and High Island and places like that. And there's nothing coming in behind that line overnight, so we can rest easy overnight. There's no more fear of anything coming in, but it did drop anywhere from 2 to almost 5 inches of rain across the northern part of the viewing area, so they saw significant street flooding once again. There goes tonight's rain as we head into first thing tomorrow morning. Can't completely rule out some isolated showers out there, and this is going to be light to at times moderate rain with maybe a clap of thunder that we see mainly over our coastal regions and up towards the southern part of the city of Houston for tomorrow. As we get into Friday evening, things are looking a whole lot better, and as we head into the day coming up on Saturday, things will be better as well. Low temperatures into the mid and upper 60s. The humidity will be a little lower than what it was before those storms came in, and then high temperatures for tomorrow should make it into the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. So we've got so much moisture in the ground that even if we do see some sunshine tomorrow afternoon, well, it's not going to allow temperatures to warm up all that much coming up for tomorrow. Here's the atmospheric moisture map. Now, when we had that really deep color of blue right over Southeast Texas. That was all the fuel that those storms needed to produce those really big thunderstorms. You can clearly see that's now over into parts of Louisiana, and that deep tropical moisture is going to continue to move out of here, allowing us to have dry weather coming up this weekend and dry weather coming up into Monday and Tuesday as well. But this model is also saying that by the time we get to the middle part of next week, some of that moisture will begin to return. Now, we just have a 20% chance in for next week because this is the first model run of this that's saying that there could be this much moisture around. If later model runs continue to indicate that we'll see those blues around Southeast Texas once again the middle of next week, we will be raising those 20% chances, but for the time being, we're going to keep it there. Well, tomorrow we've got a 40% chance for some scattered showers, maybe a clap of thunder, mainly south of Houston towards the coast. After that, we've got a beautiful weekend coming up. It is going to get hot with highs in the low 90s, but it's when those low temperatures get into the middle and upper 70s, that's when it's really going to start to feel humid and get outside, and that is going to happen as we get into the middle part of next week.
All right, David, thank you. Right now, we want to go live to our Shannon Ryan.
That's right. She's in the Heights, where at least one of those fatalities we told you about earlier occurred. Shannon, what's the latest?
Yeah, unfortunately, the mayor's office tells me at least one of the 4 fatalities across the city happened here this evening. I know it's a little bit dark right now, so you likely can't see it, but there is a garage apartment back behind that home. A tree fell through it and unfortunately killed the person inside. You can see their loved ones still gathered out on the front lawn. We spoke with several witnesses who described truly a gut-wrenching scene where these loved ones just poured out of the home trying to flag down anybody they could for help. I'm told at one point a city bus actually stopped and that passengers poured out trying to pull this person from the wreckage, untangle them. We spoke with 2 neighbors, a woman and her fiance. Her fiance ran over the house while she called 911. She said the fire truck actually initially drove past the home, so she chased them down the street, flagging them on, trying to get them to come back over to the house. Unfortunately, we know that it took more than an hour to extricate their body from this building. Again, just a heartbreaking scenario for all parties involved. Sending it back to you in the Heights, Shannon Ryan, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Oh, the last thing we wanted to hear tonight, Shannon, but all right, thank you for the update there.
Very gut-wrenching.
Another look at the storm damage in downtown Houston as we head to break.
And you can see another look at all of those blown out windows from high-rises and glass all over the street. We're getting another update on the damage after the break.
Summer start.
There is a storm coming, an event like the world has never seen before. The emerging event will have little to do with weather, but more about developing situations that were foreseen many years ago. We have always warned you during severe weather and news events that affected many. Now, Channel 1 Atlanta begins a new series to warn you about what's coming soon and make sure you are prepared. Join us on a new journey, as according to a recent survey, a lot of people believe we are living in the last days. Current news events show us now more than ever. In history, time is setting the stage for the coming storm, a new series, now playing only on Channel 1 Atlanta.
Welcome. You're tuned in to Channel 1 Atlanta News. I'm Stephen AI, your digital news anchor. Thanks for choosing us as your news source. Here's a glimpse at what's making headlines this half hour.
In the area from this severe thunderstorm. We're live in Cyprus. Jessica Willey, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
All right, Jessica, thank you for the update there. We also want to remind you about several school closures tomorrow.
This includes HISD, Cy-Fair, Goose Creek CISD, Channelview ISD, and Our Lady of Guadalupe School in the East End. We have the full list of closures on abc13.com and our news app.
New Pure Leaf Sweet Iced Tea. Full.
Through the day on Thursday in Texas. You can see how it was in northern Texas through the early portion. See how they expanded and how massive this storm became as it encroached and got closer to Houston in the I-10 corridor. Now, the storm reports are coming in out of Texas, and we still have some that are from Oklahoma and into Kansas. But as I mentioned, the worst of it was this line that left Austin and widespread power outages in its wake. When we get towards Houston, there was that area of Jacinto City where there's multiple trees down, and then we had Katy where there's trees down. Overall, at the height of this, we had over 600,000 customers without power in this area and around Texas because of those brutal storms. And beyond that, it's been turned into a major rain event. So I want to talk with Ari because it's not done. This cycle just continues as we push towards the end of the week.
Yeah, it seems like every storm system this year that comes in off of the Pacific, it lights up this crazy severe weather. We get severe weather flooding across the plains into the southeast. We catch a little bit of a break, and then we just start all over again. That's probably what's going to happen here, too. I'll show you in a second. We've got a severe risk on Sunday out in the plains. But we've got to focus on the rest of this system first. So Steve was just talking about the flood threat there. And, yeah, that's going to be a serious threat through the rest of the night. All right, so be on high alert for flash flood warnings. Don't be surprised if we get some flash flood emergencies. I want to start the future radar here tomorrow morning because I want to focus in on what's going to happen over the next couple of days. There's going to be an ongoing line of storms, and this will have been the same line of storms that went through Houston on Thursday evening. This will probably be in the Florida Panhandle or somewhere pretty close to that by Friday morning, and it still could be rocking. I mean, we still could have some pretty intense wind in that, over 60 miles an hour, maybe some hail. A couple of tornadoes, certainly not out of the question. I know this can make people a little nervous seeing a supposedly decaying line of storms approaching Tallahassee on the morning after it produced a lot of damage toward the west. I'm referencing, of course, the last event that we had through that produced multiple tornadoes there. We're not forecasting that, but be on alert in the morning if you live in Tallahassee. There's going to be another batch of storms that develops tomorrow. So there's another severe risk, and this is going to be a little bit farther south than the severe risk was on Thursday. Okay, this is going to be a little bit closer to the Gulf Coast. So places like New Orleans, while we're dealing with a couple of rounds of storms that are going to be going through the overnight tonight, we're going to get another round of some storms that could be on the nasty side tomorrow. And then we'll finish up with some severe weather in the southeast on Saturday before this storm system finally moves off the coast. So there is Friday's severe risk. Here is Saturday's severe risk. There's going to be a lot of rain, as Steve mentioned, and I did mention I would get you a look at Sunday's severe threat. It's going to be out in the plains. We'll look at that later, but New Orleans between Friday and Saturday, there are going to be a lot of on and off showers and storms, Steve.
And Ari, this is the same spots that have been slammed by prior storms. I want you to listen to these alarming stories that are coming out of Monday's event. This was actually an EF2 tornado that ripped through Louisiana. One radio DJ was actually setting up for a graduation party when he suddenly heard that very familiar sound. You know what I'm talking about, that freight train noise. What followed is what he can only describe as something out of a sci-fi movie. Louisiana radio DJ Bobby Novosad joined Fox Weather earlier to recap those scary moments.
You found yourself right in the middle of it, huh?
Thanks for having me. Yes, it was like you said. I was just watching the story before, the hurricane names. They need to go away. But
yeah,
the tornado was it came quick. The noise, the freight train, the sounds, the ripping, the wooden beams falling, and just the thunder, the rain pouring in because there was holes in the ceiling from like wooden beams that flew from the sky through the building, and these were huge 6 by 6 inch beams that just ripped a hole right through the ceiling and water gushed in, and it is like a freight train. I have seen it so many times watching the weather, and I experienced it first time. It's just myself and my helper who were there in the building. Nobody really knew we were there because the graduation party was about 20 miles away.
Wow. Where did you find safety for this? Where'd you seek shelter?
I could barely hear you. What was that?
I'm sorry. Where did you seek shelter for this storm? When you saw it coming, where'd you go?
You know, shelter was tough because it happened so fast. I knew that we needed to get out of the open because things were flying and falling. But I found sort of like an L in a wall in a hallway. And I said to my buddy Mitch, this is the best we're going to get right here. And to just get up against the wall, because when I saw the debris and I saw what was falling and coming through the ceiling, it was unbelievable.
Wow. So you survive it, you walk out. What is the first thing you see when you step outside?
I saw probably a lot of the video that you're showing right now is it was devastation. And I didn't know, you know, when you're going through this for the first time, you think that it's just you and it's the ceiling and the water and the wind. But when I went outside, it was total destruction. The area, it's called Pat's Riverfront Landing. It's like a historic hangout. It's like a small little town setting. Everything was wiped out. You know, right before the winds kicked in, it was just like in a movie where the porch lights started flickering on and off, and it went dark, and the lights came on. And I told my buddy, I said, this is more than rain and wind. Something's going on. And within 30 seconds, here comes a tornado.
Oh, my God. I couldn't even imagine. So you've lived through several hurricanes for sure. Which was scarier, this one or the hurricanes?
I'm going to tell you this because, as you know, with a hurricane, there's plenty of time to leave. In my business, I tend to stick around and run the radio station to inform our listeners of what's going on as long as we can. The rule is if it's a 3 or 4 category storm, you get out. And I've stayed for probably 9 or 10 of them. But this, you have nowhere to go. You've got to get out or find safety. And getting out's probably not a good idea of going outside.
Yeah, no question about it. So what about your place where you stay? Did you get any damage there?
No, my equipment, everything was good. We had just started unloading my equipment. The graduation party eventually happened. Of course, I'm texting the sponsor saying, hey, look, you're not going to believe this. A tornado hit the building, hit Pat's. And they're saying, oh, come on, Bobby, because they think it's a radio thing. And I'm going, no, a tornado hit. And luckily, they were able to put something together at the last minute in downtown Lafayette at the Rockin' Bowl. And the worst thing about this is I thought about it. You're talking about 300, 400, 500 students, family members, teachers, parents, kids that could have been in this building.
Oh, man.
And it would have been a totally different story.
Yeah, totally. I'm thinking about it. You had enough wherewithal to shake it off and just go on with the job afterwards?
I certainly did. You know, when it hit me is when I woke up the next day, I said, I just went through an EF2 tornado. And I wanted confirmation because I was using that word in my text messages to everybody, and I didn't know it was a tornado. But when I got the confirmation, the next day, I said, no, this was legit. This was real.
Man, it's like the adrenaline kept you going. You went your job, and then as soon as you sit back and relax, man, all of a sudden it hit you.
You know, I went to the gym. I went to the gyms where I went and worked out, shot basketball.
I mean, that's the way to do it. Bobby, I'm so glad you're safe, and I'm glad your equipment survived, too, because that's expensive stuff you got going on right there.
Yep, it's a busy time of the year, weddings and proms and graduations, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you being on the show. It was good story. Holy cow. So, yeah, congratulations on surviving that thing with all your equipment, and I hope the rest of the season is a little more quiet for you.
All right, that's BVD, right? He had that interview talking about Lake Charles. Now, they're on the cusp of it. They're right here in that 3 out of 4, but the concern is just north of there where we have the greatest risk you can have when you're looking at a flash flood threat.
Yeah, level 3 out of 4 is no slouch. That's still not something you see every day either. But this level 4 out of 4 is really something that catches my eye, and it's something that I really, really want people to take seriously. We're talking about specifically the flash flooding threat here, by the way. You know, it's a little bit different than the Storm Prediction Center's outlooks, where when I see a high outlook for excessive rain, I'm a little bit more confident that it's going to happen for sure.
Yeah, and you're confident too because what's happened behind you, that's already proven that it will happen in the month of May. I mean, you look at spots like Beaumont, just outside of Lake Charles, I-10 corridor, they already doubled their monthly rain. I mean, any additional rain would add to that and lead to visuals like this. Take a look at this video that's been coming in, and this one is actually out of Houston, showing when they took the worst of this. I think Ari here, they were trying to find, is there anything that's going to lower out?
Yeah, they got absolutely smashed by that storm. There was a lot of damage. I've seen some pictures floating around of windows that were knocked out of the high rises. It was probably 70+ mile an hour straight line wind at the very least, and I'm sure the Weather Service will be out there doing surveys over the next few days.
And just outside of Houston, right, we have some more videos that we're showing you from Houston where it's like a buzzsaw, right? You barely see the trees, and you can see the curtains of rain just kind of shredding them.
Yeah, tough to tell. It looks to me like, at least in that video, that the air is all moving in one direction. We did see one thing that looked like a debris signature on the radar. I believe that was, a little bit northeast of town, or was that southeast? That was east-southeast of town, right?
Yeah, that was toward Jacinto City, where we had that debris ball, and it was along the 610 loop. And so we were watching that. Really, the concern is all that rain is going to fall over these areas where we told you there's a surplus of rain. And now we show you, here's the expectation. I mean, even a little bit of more rain would reach that threshold. We're not talking a little more. I mean, this event on itself would be impressive.
Yeah, it seems like not too long ago, too, if you think back, that we were looking at drought in this area, right?
Yeah,
a couple months ago. But this entire area is absolutely soaked right now, and the amount of rain that we have yet to come, not only through the rest of the night, but also into the next couple of days, is really going to increase that flood risk. And I'm especially worried here about this river flooding. I think these rivers are going to swell up.
The problem with rivers, too, is because there's so much movement, and that accelerates whenever there's more volume of water. When it overflows at banks, it's not a little dribble. I mean, this is another raging river that goes into communities. It gets into every nook and cranny, and then nothing releases it out, and now you have a mold problem.
Moving water, very bad. If you take one thing away from this, even if it looks like it's pretty shallow, don't mess around with moving water.
Yeah, no unnecessary driving, really, for the next several days in and around Texas and Louisiana. We take you to Houston, where they took the brunt of the storms late on Thursday, but it's not done just yet. We have more severe weather for the rest of the week. We'll have that for you when Fox Weather Live returns. strike. And looks like it could have been hitting a nearby car. Let's talk about what happened on the other side of the Lone Star State. We go towards Houston where, yeah, you're in a high rise and you're looking at those winds rip through, and you'll even notice some debris that's coming in. There's the first responders down on the ground. Houston took the brunt. There's debris as it's kind of like a shredding of that wind racing through. They took the brunt of it on Thursday evening time as this squall line started to rotate, and even beyond that, 70, 80 mile per hour winds. We have some more video that's coming in as well, and so we want to show you what's happening in and around. This comes to us from Aaron Barker, one of our digital meteorologists that lives there. And by the way, he says this is one of the worst storms he's ever been in, and he's lived there for a while. He's been through some tropical storms, a time lapse of what this was like. He said the winds easily had to be 50 to 60 miles per hour, if not greater, when this came through. Power in those storms locked in around the Gulf. Now, I want to talk about what's happening on the other side of the Gulf, where there's intense heat that's been bubbling up those diurnal storms. This was from Wednesday, by the way, but it takes notice. You got to emphasize on it how Key West got to 115 degrees, what it felt like when you combined the temperature at 92 and the dew point at 82. Why is that so important? Tied the highest heat index ever recorded in this city. I'm saying any month of any year ever recorded in Key West, that's as hot as it's ever gone. We're talking early May, middle of May. Ridiculous. Key West, Friday through the weekend, still keeping that heat. They're not alone, right? We're not talking about just the Keys. We're looking at all of South Florida. Here's a problem with a stubborn stationary boundary. It just allows all of that warmth to keep getting pumped into Central Florida I-4 and then not get released north. So Tampa and Orlando, Saturday, you feel like you're above at the century mark or above. Now let's talk about Sunday, right? We're going to overlay and show you how this happens. Temperatures, they don't look bad, right? Mid to upper 80s. That seems like relief. Look at the dew point now. Dew point miserable. This is like sauna. This is mid to upper 70s, right? You got a pair of 7s, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And then when you combine those, now you're starting to feel, again, Lake Okeechobee South, where you're looking at 101 to 103. And I guess you could call that relief if you're dropping down to 92, if you're referring it back to what happened earlier in the week. So it just speaks to that intensity that's been ongoing in Florida with that intense heat. By the way, at times it's been excessive. So don't wait till you are thirsty to start drinking water. This is the type of weather to prepare for and limit your exposure in the heat of the afternoon, because this is going to be ongoing, carrying into next week. And we're going to keep it there in the Lone Star State with all that increased moisture that we've been seeing. The floodwaters have really been starting to rise. And this is something that we've seen since early in the month, Ari. So the Texas wildlife, they have been displaced during this event.
Yes, Stephen Lang, he's the regional director of the Wildlife Division at the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. He joins us now to break it all down. And hey, thanks for joining us, first of all. First question I have for you, have you seen an increase in wildlife calls since all this flooding started?
We have. I mean, obviously, the floodwaters have displaced lots of different types of wildlife. I mean, this may include snakes, turtles, armadillos, skunks, raccoons. But it might include larger animals such as deer, even alligators. And most of these are being seen on the roads as they're trying to escape flooding in the rivers. So if you're motorists out there, make sure you watch for this, especially at night along raised roads and right-of-ways near bridges.
And Stephen, we've seen how impactful this flooding can be early in the month, and now we have another round that's underway. You're probably already hearing it and seeing it outside right now. How does your team prep for something like this?
Well, ahead of time, it's always people first. We move people and equipment to higher ground. We close access to recreation areas and key locations. We've got staff monitoring rainfall and flood gauges throughout East Texas because many of our state parks and wildlife management areas are associated with rivers and lakes. We've already closed portions of 7 wildlife management areas, and this includes the entire Sam Houston National Forest, primarily due to road damage. And our game wardens are always on call for swift water rescues and evacuations if necessary because earlier this week, we were just within a few inches from the flood of record on the lower Trinity River west of Houston, and that doesn't include, today's additional rains.
So one thing I'm kind of curious about is, can you think of any examples of specific species and how they adapt to survive all this kind of heavy rain and flooding type of stuff?
Well, wildlife move naturally just along river courses and will evacuate from the floodwaters. Flooding is a natural part of this ecosystem, so the bottomland hardwood forest and their associated wildlife are uniquely adapted to the environment. However, because this has been such a prolonged flooding event, wildlife will seek shelter in unique places, so they will possibly move up into urban areas or near someone's home. It's important to just make sure that you watch out because they could appear in various places, especially around your home.
And it can be unexpected, right? Stephen, we actually had our local I should say correspondent, Katie Burns. She was out, and where she was reporting, there was a gator just kind of lurking about 50 feet away from her. She didn't know. And she's like, all right, we got to move location. So do you have any tips for folks at home? Let's say there is, an animal that's displaced and they end up on their property. Who do they call? Do they call you?
Well, one thing we want people to know is that during these events, because human safety is first, please do not call law enforcement, do not call the sheriff's office or the game wardens. They can call Parks and Wildlife, the Wildlife Division. We can assist with that. We try to, spread information through public media requests such as this, or we have information available on our website, or just words that we, things we pass mouth to mouth in our local communities. We do have biologists that are assigned to different counties, and very often they're immersed in the communities, potentially assisting if they need it.
All right. Hey, Stephen Lane, we wish you the best of this next round, and we know that you guys are well prepared since, you've been on it. You've already seen it this month, so it's not going to catch you by surprise. Stephen Lane, Regional Director for the Wildlife Division at the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, thank you for being with us here on Fox Weather.
Thanks, guys.
And let's show more of that video, right? We began referencing what happened earlier this month. Let's take a deeper dive. And this is what Stephen was talking about when he said the Trinity River, it actually went over its bank and almost got to near record levels.
River flooding always blows my mind to see how it happens. It's crazy how it happens. It can happen while it's completely sunny outside for like 5 days in a row. It has to do with the rain that has fallen over time. And just to see those rivers swell like that, it is something else, isn't it?
And something with this, too, is that there's enough energy and force for the water to get driven in these communities, but there's no exit, right? You're just waiting for a slow drain out, and oftentimes it ends up being there for way too long, where residents are like, now I'm trapped. And we take you now to Montgomery County, where you're looking at flooding that actually happened on the same day.
Yeah, look at that sign. I mean, you can see how high the water is. I think a lot of people get confused. You've got flash flooding, and then you've got river flooding. This right here would be an example of river flooding, where the river just really swells up. Places that can sometimes go underwater during river flooding will go underwater. You can prepare for this a little bit better, but it's still, it's still very devastating. I mean, people really tend to lose a lot of property in these events. And then you've got flash flooding as well, which we're probably going to see a lot of that tonight. Over in Harris County, Texas now, take a look at this. This is unbelievable. Yeah. Look at the amount of water that is on the screen there. Yeah, this was not long ago. It was several days ago. But May 4th, yeah. So it just goes to show you how long all this stuff has been going on. Not only do we have the severe weather, it's just so widespread. So many different parts of the country have dealt with it.
Yeah, and we look at this. So Harris County, I believe this is where you have Houston, right? So you're not talking far from the metro area, and it's never a good sign when you start to see people arriving to your neighborhood with an airboat or any other type of boat like that to try to start performing rescues. And so why there's been a big sense of urgency and awareness built up with these incoming events, because this already happened the last week to 2 weeks. And so what the threshold now at this point to see something like this play out again is lower. And so with these storms coming in, we take a look at how much rain, and we alluded to this before, but we're almost triple where we should be on average. I mean, this massive spike started in April and hasn't stopped since.
Well, you can see to date how far above average we already are. Yeah. And then you tack onto this the fact that we have a high risk from the WPC that's put out for tonight. We've got the moderate risk for tomorrow. And so we're going to tack on some big numbers to that graph coming up over the next 48 hours, I would say.
And you said, hey, this is probably already ongoing with flash flooding. We got some new videos. Let's get it to you now that are coming in here to the Fox Weather headquarters in Manhattan. We're showing you some of those visuals from people's backyard. I mean, this is a wheelbarrow that's completely filled, and the rain's still going.
Yeah, that's College Station. I mean, it's been a very persistent little line of storms that has formed, and I think we're going to see a lot more scenes like this. Unfortunately, I think a lot of this is going to be going on after the sun is down. So, yeah, very, very dangerous stuff.
And so this was College Station. We have another video we can show you as well, too, and this kind of speaks to the intensity of this rain coming in. This is out of Hornsby Bend, Texas, where beyond just the rain, which notice the yard's waterlogged at that point, the wind started to kick up too, and so it's that blistering rain that comes in at times.
To me, that kind of looks like a downburst, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of eyeballing it. Maybe not the strongest downburst in the world, but that's still a good solid, 45, 50 mile an hour plus wind. And whatever that awning there is taking a little bit of a beating for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to be watching this play out because the visuals are already behind Ari there, where you're seeing people kind of almost trapped from their homes. There's really no access point to get in, and it's because you've seen areas where Beaumont's already doubled their monthly rain in no time at all. Look at this that's unfolding from Vince's shot in Barnhart, Texas. You have a wall cloud that's getting even closer and closer to the ground, and at any moment could produce potentially a tornado. We're going to be taking a closer look at that when we return here on Fox Weather Live.
That's $78.29.
Oh, I've only got $50. Take out the cheese puffs and the broccoli. I mean, who likes broccoli?
I don't. Only $22.87 to go.
It would be faster with the Empower app. Empower Cash Advance gives you up to $250 instantly, no late.
Was 70 degrees at the regional airport. The dew point was 68, making the relative humidity 93%. Winds were east at 3 miles an hour. The pressure was 29.82 inches and falling. Once again in Monroe, it was 70.
This is a tornado warning.
10 p.m. in Shreveport, cloudy and 70. Wind southeast at 18 miles an hour, gusting to 28 miles an hour. El Dorado, light rain and 66. Wind southeast at 23 miles an hour, gusting to 37 miles an hour. Greenville, rain and 73. Wind southwest at 3 miles an hour. Vicksburg, rain and fog and 72. Wind calm. Jackson, a thunderstorm and 74. Wind calm. And at Alexandria, light rain and 70 degrees. Wind southeast at 9 miles an hour, gusting to 23 miles an hour. Elsewhere across the four-state region, over at DFW Airport, mostly cloudy and 67. Oklahoma City, partly cloudy and 67. Little Rock, cloudy and 75. Baton Rouge, a thunderstorm and 74. And at Houston, mostly cloudy and 70 degrees. For the most current information, check us out on the web at www.weather.gov/SHP. Now let's check on your local forecast. Flood watch in effect through Friday morning. Tonight, a chance of thunderstorms. Showers. Some thunderstorms may produce heavy rainfall. Lows in the mid-60s. Southeast winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain near 100%. Friday, mostly cloudy. Patchy fog in the morning. A chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the morning. Highs in the lower 80s. South winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 50%. Friday night, mostly cloudy in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Patchy fog after midnight. Lows in the mid-60s. South winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 40%. Saturday, mostly cloudy in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. Patchy fog in the morning. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the mid-80s. West winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 30%. Saturday night, mostly clear. Lows in the mid-60s. Northwest winds around 5 miles per hour in the evening, becoming light and variable. Sunday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 80s. Sunday night, clear. Lows in the upper 60s. Monday, sunny. Highs in the lower 90s. Monday night, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 60s. Tuesday, mostly sunny. Highs in the lower 90s. Tuesday night, partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Lows in the lower 70s. Chance of rain 20%. Wednesday, mostly cloudy in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. A slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the upper 80s. Chance of rain 20%. Wednesday night, partly cloudy in the evening, then becoming mostly cloudy. A slight chance of thunderstorms. A slight chance of showers. Lows in the lower 70s. Chance of rain 20%. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the morning, then partly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Highs in the lower 90s. Chance of rain 30%. Flood watch remains in effect until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday. What? Flooding caused by excessive rainfall continues to be possible. Where? Portions of Louisiana, including the following parishes: Bienville, Caldwell, DeSoto, Grant, Jackson, La Salle, Natchitoches, Ouachita, Red River, Sabine and Wynn, and Texas, including the following counties: Angelina, Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Panola, Rusk, Sabine, St. Augustine, Shelby, and Smith. When? Until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday. Impacts: flooding may occur in poor drainage and urban areas. Low water crossings may be flooded. Area creeks and streams are running high and could flood with more heavy rain. Additional details: rainfall continues across much of North Louisiana with the possibility of more rainfall overnight. http://www.weather.gov/safety/ flood. You should monitor later forecasts and be alert for possible flood warnings. Those living in areas prone to flooding should be prepared to take action should flooding develop. Repeating, a flood watch remains in effect until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday for the following parishes in Louisiana: Bienville, Caldwell, DeSoto, Grant, Jackson, Natchitoches, Ouachita, Red River, Sabine and Wynn, and the following counties in Texas: Angelina, Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Panola, Rusk, Sabine, St. Augustine, Shelby, and Smith. You're listening to your weather radio, station WXJ96, broadcasting in Monroe on 162.55 megahertz. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Here's a look at local weather conditions as of 10 p.m. At the top of the hour, rain was falling in Monroe. The temperature was 70 degrees at the regional airport. The dew point was 68, making the relative humidity 93%. Winds were east at 3 miles an hour. The pressure was 29.82 inches and falling. Once again in Monroe, it was 70 degrees with rain falling at 10 p.m. Around the local area at 10 p.m., in Shreveport, cloudy and 70. Wind southeast at 18 miles an hour, gusting to 28 miles an hour. El Dorado, light rain and 66. Wind southeast at 23 miles an hour, gusting to 37 miles an hour. Greenville, rain and 73. Wind southwest at 3 miles an hour. Vicksburg, rain and fog and 72. Wind calm. Jackson, a thunderstorm and 74. Wind calm. And at Alexandria, light rain and 70 degrees. Wind southeast at 9 miles an hour, gusting to 23 miles an hour. Elsewhere across the four-state region, over at DFW Airport, mostly cloudy and 67. Oklahoma City, partly cloudy and 67. Little Rock, cloudy and 75. Baton Rouge, a thunderstorm and 74. And at Houston, mostly cloudy and 70 degrees. For the most current information, check us out on the web at www.weather.gov/SHP. Now let's check on your local forecast. Flood watch in effect through Friday morning. Tonight, a chance of thunderstorms. Showers. Some thunderstorms may produce heavy rainfall. Lows in the mid-60s. Southeast winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain near 100%. Friday, mostly cloudy. Patchy fog in the morning. A chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the morning. Highs in the lower 80s. South winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 50%. Friday night, mostly cloudy in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Patchy fog after midnight. Lows in the mid-60s. South winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 40%. Saturday, mostly cloudy in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. Patchy fog in the morning. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the mid-80s. West winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 30%. Saturday night, mostly clear. Lows in the mid-60s. Northwest winds around 5 miles per hour in the evening, becoming light and variable. Sunday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 80s. Sunday night, clear. Lows in the upper 60s. Monday, sunny. Highs in the lower 90s. Monday night, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 60s. Tuesday, mostly sunny. Highs in the lower 90s. Tuesday night, partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Lows in the lower 70s. Chance of rain 20%. Wednesday, mostly cloudy in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. A slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the upper 80s. Chance of rain 20%. Wednesday night, partly cloudy in the evening, then becoming mostly cloudy. A slight chance of thunderstorms. A slight chance of showers. Lows in the lower 70s. Chance of rain 20%. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the morning, then partly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Highs in the lower 90s. Chance of rain 30%. Flood watch remains in effect until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday. What? Flooding caused by excessive rainfall continues to be possible. Where? Portions of Louisiana, including the following parishes: Bienville, Caldwell, DeSoto, Grant, Jackson, La Salle, Natchitoches, Ouachita, Red River, Sabine and Wynne, and Texas, including the following counties: Angelina, Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Panola, Rusk, Sabine, St. Augustine, Shelby, and Smith. When? Until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday. Impacts. Flooding may occur in poor drainage and urban areas. Low water crossings may be flooded. Area creeks and streams are running high and could flood with more heavy rain. Additional details. Rainfall continues across much of North Louisiana with the possibility of more rainfall overnight. http://www.weather.gov/safety/. Flood. You should monitor later forecasts and be alert for possible flood warnings. Those living in areas prone to flooding should be prepared to take action should flooding develop. Repeating, a flood watch remains in effect until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday for the following parishes in Louisiana: Bienville, Caldwell, DeSoto, Grant, Jackson, Natchitoches, Ouachita, Red River, Sabine and Wynne, and the following counties in Texas: Angelina, Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Panola, Rusk, Sabine, St. Augustine, Shelby, and Smith. You're listening to your weather radio, station WXJ96, broadcasting in Monroe on 162.55 megahertz. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Here's a look at local weather conditions as of 10 p.m. At the top of the hour, rain was falling in Monroe. The temperature was 70 degrees at the regional airport. The dew point was 68, making the relative humidity 93%. Winds were east at 3 miles an hour. The pressure was 29.82 inches and falling. Once again in Monroe, it was 70 degrees with rain falling at 10 p.m. Around the local area at 10 p.m., in Shreveport, cloudy and 70. Wind southeast at 18 miles an hour, gusting to 28 miles an hour. El Dorado, light rain and 66. Wind southeast at 23 miles an hour, gusting to 37 miles an hour. Greenville, rain and 73. Wind southwest at 3 miles an hour. Vicksburg, rain and fog and 72. Wind calm. Jackson, a thunderstorm and 74. Wind calm. And at Alexandria, light rain and 70 degrees. Wind southeast at 9 miles an hour, gusting to 23 miles an hour. Elsewhere across the four-state region, over at DFW Airport, mostly cloudy and 67. Oklahoma City, partly cloudy and 67. Little Rock, cloudy and 75. Baton Rouge, a thunderstorm and 74. And at Houston, mostly cloudy and 70 degrees. For the most current information, check us out on the web at www.weather.gov/shp. Now let's check on your local forecast. Flood watch in effect through Friday morning. Tonight, a chance of thunderstorms. Showers. Some thunderstorms may produce heavy rainfall. Lows in the mid-60s. Southeast winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain near 100%. Friday, mostly cloudy. Patchy fog in the morning. A chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the morning. Highs in the lower 80s. South winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 50%. Friday night, mostly cloudy in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Patchy fog after midnight. Lows in the mid-60s. South winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 40%. Saturday, mostly cloudy in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. Patchy fog in the morning. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the mid-80s. West winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 30%. Saturday night, mostly clear. Lows in the mid-60s. Northwest winds around 5 miles per hour in the evening, becoming light and variable. Sunday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 80s. Sunday night, clear. Lows in the upper 60s. Monday, sunny. Highs in the lower 90s. Monday night, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 60s. Tuesday, mostly sunny. Highs in the lower 90s. Tuesday night, partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Lows in the lower 70s. Chance of rain 20%. Wednesday, mostly cloudy in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. A slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the upper 80s. Chance of rain 20%. Wednesday night, partly cloudy in the evening, then becoming mostly cloudy. A slight chance of thunderstorms. A slight chance of showers. Lows in the lower 70s. Chance of rain 20%. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the morning, then partly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Highs in the lower 90s. Chance of rain 30%. Flood watch remains in effect until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday. What? Flooding caused by excessive rainfall continues to be possible. Where? Portions of Louisiana, including the following parishes: Bienville, Caldwell, DeSoto, Grant, Jackson, La Salle, Natchitoches, Ouachita, Red River, Sabine and Wynne, and Texas, including the following counties: Angelina, Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Panola, Rusk, Sabine, St. Augustine, Shelby, and Smith. When? Until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday. Impacts: flooding may occur in poor drainage and urban areas. Low water crossings may be flooded. Area creeks and streams are running high and could flood with more heavy rain. Additional details: rainfall continues across much of North Louisiana with the possibility of more rainfall overnight. http://www.weather.gov/safety/. Flood. You should monitor later forecasts and be alert for possible flood warnings. Those living in areas prone to flooding should be prepared to take action should flooding develop. Repeating, a flood watch remains in effect until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday for the following parishes in Louisiana: Bienville, Caldwell, DeSoto, Grant, Jackson, Natchitoches, Ouachita, Red River, Sabine, and Wynne, and the following counties in Texas: Angelina, Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Panola, Rusk, Sabine, St. Augustine, Shelby, and Smith. You're listening to your weather radio, station WXJ96, broadcasting in Monroe on 162.55 megahertz. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Here's a look at local weather conditions as of 11 p.m. At the top of the hour, light rain was falling in Monroe. The temperature was 70 degrees at the regional airport. The dew point was 67, making the relative humidity 90%. Winds were east at 3 miles an hour. The pressure was 29.78 inches and falling. Once again in Monroe, it was 70 degrees with light rain falling at 11 p.m. Around the local area at 11 p.m., in Shreveport, mostly cloudy and 70. Wind southeast at 12 miles an hour, gusting to 21 miles an hour. El Dorado, cloudy and 66. Wind variable at 5 miles an hour, gusting to 20 miles an hour. Greenville, rain and 72. Wind south at 3 miles an hour. Vicksburg, rain and 71. Wind east at 20 miles an hour, gusting to 29 miles an hour. Jackson, a thunderstorm and 74. Wind calm. And at Alexandria, cloudy and 70 degrees. Wind variable at 6 miles an hour, gusting to 18 miles an hour. Elsewhere across the 4-state region, over at DFW Airport, mostly cloudy and 67. Oklahoma City, partly cloudy and 64. Little Rock, cloudy and 75. Baton Rouge, light rain and 66. And at Houston, partly cloudy and 70 degrees. For the most current information, check us out on the web at www.weather.gov/shp. Now let's check on your local forecast. Flood watch in effect through Friday morning. Tonight, a chance of thunderstorms. Showers. Some thunderstorms may produce heavy rainfall, Lows in the mid-60s. Southeast winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain near 100%. Friday, mostly cloudy. Patchy fog in the morning. A chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the morning. Highs in the lower 80s. South winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 50%. Friday night, mostly cloudy in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Patchy fog after midnight. Lows in the mid-60s. South winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 40%. Saturday, mostly cloudy in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. Patchy fog in the morning. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the mid-80s. West winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 30%. Saturday night, mostly clear. Lows in the mid-60s. Northwest winds around 5 miles per hour in the evening, becoming light and variable. Sunday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 80s. Sunday night, clear. Lows in the upper 60s. Monday, sunny. Highs in the lower 90s. Monday night, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 60s. Tuesday, mostly sunny. Highs in the lower 90s. Tuesday night, partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Lows in the lower 70s. Chance of rain 20%. Wednesday, mostly cloudy in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. A slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the upper 80s. Chance of rain 20%. Wednesday night, partly cloudy in the evening, then becoming mostly cloudy. A slight chance of thunderstorms. A slight chance of showers. Lows in the lower 70s. Chance of rain 20%. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the morning, then partly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Highs in the lower 90s. Chance of rain 30%. Flood watch remains in effect until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday. What? Flooding caused by excessive rainfall continues to be possible. Where? Portions of Louisiana, including the following parishes: Bienville, Caldwell, DeSoto, Grant, Jackson, LaSalle, Natchitoches, Ouachita, Red River, Sabine and Wynne, and Texas, including the following counties: Angelina, Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Panola, Rusk, Sabine, St. Augustine, Shelby, and Smith. When? Until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday. Impacts: flooding may occur in poor drainage and urban areas. Low water crossings may be flooded. Area creeks and streams are running high and could flood with more heavy rain. Additional details: rainfall continues across much of North Louisiana with the possibility of more rainfall overnight. http://www.weather.gov/safety/ flood. You should monitor later forecasts and be alert for possible flood warnings. Those living in areas prone to flooding should be prepared to take action should flooding develop. Repeating, a flood watch remains in effect until 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time Friday for the following parishes in Louisiana: Bienville, Caldwell, DeSoto, Grant, Jackson, Natchitoches, Ouachita.
If you will, and then
Right.
dissipate, but I think we're seeing it kind of pulse in a way.
Yeah, so again, Norco, Mons, Hanville, Taft, still want you to be in your safe place. From Belterre, golf course area, down toward La Place and Lucy. Now, Edgard, I think you're safe. I mean, you're in heavy rain right now and some gusty winds, but that rotation now is a good 10 miles away from you. So, Edgard, you should be fine. I'm going to clear you. I'm going to clear Hope as well. But areas to the east of it, Mons, Taft, Norco, Hanville, over to La Branche, I would definitely be in your safe place right now, just in the event you do have some of those strong gusty winds or a spin up from a potential tornado that could pop up very quickly. Want to remind you too, the Fox 8 weather app, hopefully you have it, put on notifications. If you lose power you can go on the Fox 8 weather app and you can listen live to Amber and I, and we will clear you via your phone if you're in your safe place. So again, it's a great tool to have. Some of these winds up to 45 to near 50 miles per hour. This area here is under the gun, winds up to near 50. It looks like it's moving still eastward at this point, but still Norco and Lule, definitely we need to watch out in this region here for the threat of some of those very strong and those very gusty winds. So let's see when that tornado warning is in effect until, at this point, it is until 11:30. So another 6 minutes to go, and this warning will drop, but nevertheless, they could extend it possibly with this kind of little notch here in this area. So Monson, Norco, still in your area, so make sure you're in your safe place. Laplace, heading over to Belterre by the golf course. Lucy, you should be in your safe place. All cities in this area here should be in their safe place. Severe thunderstorm warning is just coming down, and we can show you where that is. That'll be coming down the pipe in just a moment. But once again, this is a very dangerous storm as it moves off to the east, once again at 40 to 45 miles per hour. So is that a continuation of a warning?
It looks like it's a continuation. It's now going to move that box over Slidell. So folks in all of St. Tammany Parish now under that severe thunderstorm warning, all the storms on the North Shore extended.
Right. Okay, so St. Tammany Parish, Southeastern Tangipahoa Parish, Western Hancock over in Mississippi, Southwest Pearl in Mississippi as well. Once again at 40 to 45 miles per hour. So is that a continuation of a warning? Around the Esplanade Mall, this is an area that we're watching again from La Branch to Norco. And I'm going to say if you live in parts of Western Kenner now, let's go back to Velocity, Amber. I would get into your safe place. I mean, at this point, this is a very, very strong wind field. As it moves eastward, it looks like it may clip areas right along the northern edge of the lakeshore coming in from Metairie and Kenner into Jefferson Parish. So it does extend pretty much almost to Chateau Estates. It does include Loyola Drive and Westward Airport up in this area here. So this storm still tornado warned, but it is expected to expire in the next 3 to 4 minutes. So we will see whether or not the Weather Service does extend it. As of right now, I would say even if they do drop it, get ready for some gusty winds and also dangerous lightning and the potential of some hail near Chateau and Kenner. Lightning show. I mean, it is popping out there all over the place, as you can see. Farther south as well, toward Lockport, down toward Houma, up toward Livingston, Sun and Bush to Bogalusa. We're already seeing lightning here at Fox 8. Even though the storms have not reached us, lightning can travel a good 20 to 30 miles away from the parent storm. So again, lightning, that's why it's so deadly. Clear air lightning can be a storm in Laplace, and it can strike in Metairie, believe it or not. So again, this is a very dangerous electrical storm, lots of lightning, lots of wind, potential of hail as it all begins to move basically off to the east at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So it's 11:28 right now, and the tornado warning is set to expire at 11:30. So we've got about a minute and a half. Now, if that goes away, likely we will go back to regular programming. But I just want to remind you that in the area from Metairie and Kenner, in the city, also moving eastward toward Covington, Bush, Mandeville, Madisonville, up toward Bogalusa, heavy rain, strong gusty winds as well. So we have another severe thunderstorm warning now for the North Shore, Amber. Let's see if that's one of the continuation or if it's going to be a new one. But nevertheless, severe thunderstorm SS South Shore, NO is North Shore, and you can see this entire area on the North Shore and parts of the South Shore, we are looking at severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, where basically the outer edge of this line has just a ton of rain with it, and also lots of driving winds as it does move off to the east and northeast. So at this point, it looks like it's going to see what we're looking at in terms of that, but we are going to be watching this probably the next hour. So tornado warnings, we're going to be breaking in for. Severe thunderstorm warnings will be crawling along your screen. But right now, all the major metropolitan areas of the entire Fox 8 viewing area is under the gun with that heavy rain and the strong, very gusty winds. Tornado watch in effect through 3 o'clock in the morning. However, as this line moves eastward, likely we're going to start peeling off parishes as the line moves away. So likely this is not going to stay till 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe on the eastern side away toward Gulfport. But at this point, it looks like we will eventually start dropping the warnings in the next likely hour and a half to 2 hours. So let's see, they did drop the warning, Amber, I believe they did?
It looks like they might have trimmed back the warning for St. James and Terrebonne Parish there down towards the south. So that large box, that large polygon that's covering up towards Laplace,
right
down to Homa there, it looks like they've taken Homa out of that, so folks on the back end of that were taken out. Thibodaux, so it's the same warning, just trimmed back a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay, so the tornado warnings basically are done at this point. From what I'm seeing, Amber, I'm not seeing anything on my end from my feed and chat. So the tornado warnings have now expired. Not to say we won't get any more, but I just want to remind you that basically state line from Kentwood all the way down on the western edge of Lake Pontchartrain toward Homa, cut off on Lafitte in the city. Right now, Metairie and Kenner moving toward Causeway, easily moving toward Bonneville, and then the cemeteries and City Park Avenue, and then the uptown area too. Amber, what you got?
I was just watching the 5-minute observations here for the New Orleans Metro, or the New Orleans Airport. 53-mile-per-hour wind gust just happening here with incredibly heavy downpours.
Not surprised. So again, that's the severe criteria. 55, 60, you start getting into that range, you can bring trees down, blowing different debris around. So again, a very dangerous line of storms moving eastward with some of those strong winds and that dangerous lightning too. So Homa, Thibodaux, Morgan City, you're in it right now from Napoleonville to Laplace on the eastern side, approaching Metairie and Kenner. South of that area, moving into parts of the West Bank, you're starting to get into that heavy rainfall down in Lafitte, near Lake Salvador. Big storms over the lake right now in Lake Salvador, but moving eastward, also down toward Cutoff. You're going to be in it in the next few minutes too. So right now, these are going to be just storms that bring a lot of lightning. You're going to hear a lot of rumbles of thunder, some gusty winds, and also if you're in an area that has a lot of trees and the winds are picking up, I would maybe go to the opposite side of the house in the event that those trees go down. And we all know that strong winds can sometimes bring down those trees. So very heavy rain, some gusty winds, and also if you lose power, just want to remind you, on the Fox 8 weather app, you can watch us live from your iPad, your iPhone. If you have an Android device, you can watch us live. In the event that we come back with a warning, we will let you know if your area needs to be in your safe place, or if it goes beyond that point, we can clear you from the safe place. But for right now, we do not have any tornado warnings at this point. However, those very strong storms are moving in from Bogalusa and Covington, now basically covering the lake, all of the lake basically, and then most of Orleans and Jefferson on the western side getting really inundated right now with that very heavy rainfall. Lafitte and Cutoff, as mentioned, you're in it. Houma, Thibodaux, Morgan City. The good news is that all this is moving kind of east and southeast. So this line, it's not moving over the city where we're going to see that training. This line is shifting southeast. So once this line all pushes away, it looks like we will get some light to moderate rain, but we're not seeing that northeastward movement where we're seeing a big push off to the east and to the southeast. So that is certainly great news. Some of the rainfall totals coming in up to 2 to 4 inches. In fact, let's come up toward the Covington area, and also let's go toward Albany and maybe Hammond even, Amber. We can focus in and we can show you some of the rainfall estimates in these areas here. So that seems to be where the heaviest rain is falling now, and it's adding up pretty quickly. So Hammond, Ponchatoula, some of these areas of yellow, more than likely up to 2 to 3 inches of rain. She'll query these and it'll bring up the actual numbers for you. 2.7, 2.3, 2.5 inches, 2.2 west of Independence. So anywhere from 2 to 3 quick inches of rain have fallen, and we're still not done with it. So we called for the potential of several inches of rain, but fortunately it's moving quickly. So you get the big downburst of rain for probably 30 to 45 minutes, and then it basically moves off to the east. In fact, right now, Amber, you can see on the western edge, we're beginning to see the heavier rain in the next 15 to 20 minutes moving away from Laplace in those areas. So we were just talking about tornado warnings, and now Laplace, in the next 15 minutes or so, you're going to start seeing more light rain as the heavier rain picks up toward New Orleans east. The lake completely covered in big storms right now. Covington and Bush, Bogalusa, heavy storms. Now along I-55, heaviest rain, it's done. That's how fast it's moving. From Kentwood to Roseland, Albany, all the way down toward Hammond, Lee's Landing, Ponchatoula. So we're beginning to see that rain dissipating a bit, but still, it'll be falling, but not like we've been seeing. And it moves eastward toward eastern areas of Washington, St. Tammany, as well as on the eastern side of the lake, from New Orleans east toward the city as well, Morgan City, Houma, Thibodaux. So we're going to wrap it up here. Amber, do you have any final thoughts before we go?
No, I don't think so. I think we'll just be watching these storms until they're gone.
Okay. Let's put it into motion one more time. Let's show you the movement of it. Then we'll turn on the lightning. We can show you that. So at least they're moving. Lots of, lightning, over 1,150 strikes earlier, now down to 1,135. Not a big deal, not a big drop, but nevertheless, just a really big lightning storm, as well as heavy rainfall and those gusty winds. But fortunately, it is moving from the North Shore down to the city, and then toward the bayou parishes, Terrebonne, Lafourche, heading down toward Lower Jefferson. All these storms moving southeast, and it looks like they will not train over the metropolitan area, which of course is great news. You get that training, you get the flooding, and that could be certainly a big problem. So Amber and I, we're going to be here through the evening with you. Since there are no tornado warnings, if there are any more severe thunderstorm warnings, we're going to continue to crawl those on the top of your screen. If there are tornado warnings, I guarantee it, we'll be right back on it. And make sure you have that Fox 8 weather app as well. In the event you lose power, you can always watch us if we come back live with some of those tornado warnings. So stay safe out there. We're going to be watching for you. Probably another hour to go, and then things will begin to settle down like we're seeing over toward Tangipahoa Parish. But until then, big storms in the metro and the North Shore and the bayou parishes too. Let's go back now to regular programming.
severe weather, every second counts. With unmatched weather experience and unmatched weather technology, as you would expect from your weather authority, Fox 8 utilizes two complete state-of-the-art weather systems. Our exclusive Viper radar delivers the data, allowing you to see the storm in the highest resolution possible, keeping you ahead of the storm and giving you that crucial time needed if your neighborhood is in danger. Stay safe, stay weather aware, stay with Fox 8, your weather authority. Up next is your local weather from your Fox 8 Weather Authority. From Fox 8, your weather authority, this is a severe weather update, sponsored by Egan Insurance Agency, family to family, business to business since 1954.
So again, we took a power hit here at Fox 8. You likely can hear me, but you may not be able to see me. So we're going to keep on going with this as we continue to see some big storms continuing to move off to the east and southeast. So generators kicking on right now, and there's Amber.
Okay, I think they have me here. We don't have any lights, but you don't need lights. You just need a radar. So I want to kind of give you the lay of the land here. We have a large box, and I don't know, Bruce, if you want to come over here too, you can. We've got this large box, which is, of course, our tornado watch box. All the orange boxes, which were lit up in orange, that's going to be your severe thunderstorm warnings. We're all under a severe thunderstorm warning under this long line here. And then we have a flood, basically flood warnings for the city all around the lake. We're getting very heavy rainfall and wind gusts as high as 70 and 80 miles per hour with these storms that are possible. I have been looking at the observations from the New Orleans airport, and I've been seeing wind gusts of about 60 miles per hour. So definitely consistent with severe thunderstorm warnings here. And with these torrential downpours, of course, that's just going to reduce any visibility if anybody's, of course, on that causeway. Unfortunately, the entire lake is filled with very heavy rain. And something else I want to show you here, the reason why we know we've got strong winds, even without seeing observations, is that you can see these bowing lines here. The storms just make a bow. That means that these are very strong winds just shooting out with these storms, kind of pushing those storms out. A little messier here up to the north, but we know we have ground truth that these storms are very strong. I think I just lost my monitor here. There we go. You can tell we're taking power hits here in the city. We're in mid-city, so we're getting really strong wind gusts here. I don't know if our own station there, Bruce, is telling us how strong our winds are, but they're very strong, which we're getting all these power hits here. But again, just want to give you just an overview of these severe thunderstorm warnings that we're seeing on both sides of the lake, all the way down towards just north of Cutoff. So this is going to be into Terrebonne Parish there. So if you're in Lafitte, the heaviest of the storm is heading for you right now. Let me zoom into this stronger line here to the south. We haven't spent enough time for our friends down towards the south here. But again, this severe thunderstorm warning, this is going to go until midnight. So you've got another 20 minutes, and I have not seen any signs of this slowing down. So this is going to be for folks in Jean Lafitte. If you're in Lafitte, if you're in Estelle, you're seeing the heaviest of the storms. All of these storms, the heaviest going through the metro right now. The entire city of New Orleans into Kenner, all the metro seeing this strong thunderstorm. Over towards Chef Mentor, Violet, you're starting to see some higher radar returns, but the strongest bow is just now making its way towards you. Again, strong wind gusts inside this bow up to 70 and possibly 80 miles per hour. This is heading for Chef Mentor and heading for Eden Isles. So if you're in Eden Isles, if you're around the Wrigley's, if you're in Slidell, you're going to feel these winds here pretty soon. Up towards Mandeville, Madisonville, Covington, all under the gun for these with these storms over you right now. Wind gusts up to, again, 70, 80 miles per hour, torrential downpours. And you could be seeing a little hail in these storms as well. Let me turn on my hail tracker. We haven't really visited that as much just because we are looking at the strongest winds. And here's the good news. I'm not seeing a lot of hail, so that's good news here. And I don't know, Bruce, if you've got any new updates here.
Yeah, I just checked in with Streetwise. And right now, there are no flooded roadways or any closures at this point. So that certainly is good news. And again, we talked about this is really not a major flood threat, although, yeah, it's heavy rain, dropping a lot of rain in a short amount of time. But once again, it's moving quickly. You can see basically on the western edge of the lake, it's pretty much done at this point. So once again, Kentwood down south of 55, you're done. And then we're looking on the western side of Washington into St. Tammany in another 15, 20 minutes. This will also bypass you. Now, Houma down to Thibodaux and Morgan City, some very heavy rain. And on top of that, on the North Shore, we heard from Zach Verdella. He should be sleeping. He's got Fox 8 Morning Edition at 4 a.m., but the lightning and thunder woke him up. He said, Bruce and Amber, this is some of the worst weather and winds I've seen in a while. So, again, on the North Shore, you are definitely feeling it as we are on the South Shore. Also, down toward Morgan City and Houma as all this moves off to the east and to the northeast. So, we've seen those winds up to 60 to 65 at times. We've had a report unconfirmed up to 80 miles per hour.
84 now at the airport.
84 at the airport.
Just a few moments ago at the airport, they clocked in 84 mile per hour wind gusts.
Okay, so that's the airport in Kenner, not Lakefront?
That's in Kenner.
In Kenner, okay. Lakefront, right on the lake, usually gets those winds, but we're talking over 80 miles per hour wind gusts coming in right at the airport in Kenner. So very, very strong winds, and we talked about that. The wind and severe threat would be the worst with this feature. Now, tomorrow night into Saturday, more of a flood event as opposed to a severe weather event, because we look to have potential training tomorrow night into early Saturday. But right now, this is that line that's moving eastward that has been responsible for many reports of hail as well as a lot of wind damage well far to the west throughout parts of Texas and into parts of southwestern Louisiana. So Covington and Mandeville, you're still in it. Lakefront right now, North Shore and South Shore, heavy rain, some of those very strong gusty winds. I mean, over 80 miles per hour. I mean, that is hurricane force plus winds that we had at the airport in Kenner. It is moving eastward, down toward Cutoff. Lafitte, you're in it right now. I mean, boy, down the bayou there, you're probably really feeling it rocking with a lot of lightning. Houma, Thibodaux, down toward areas of Dulac, you're going to be in it soon, down to Cutoff. Terrio, you're going to be in it as well. So these storms, at least they're moving. Now, we do still have some warnings as far as flood warnings, basically toward the Baton Rouge area, but those will likely be dropped. So you may have had a little street flooding with these storms moving off to the east, but again, as the storms move away, the water tends to drain pretty quickly. So we're hoping that as this continues to move 40 to 45 miles per hour, it's not going to hang around that long. And if we do get some ponding on roadways, eventually it will go down pretty quickly. But I mean, we're in the heart of it right now. I mean, Covington, Mandeville, Madisonville, highly populated areas on the northern end of the lakeshore, on the North Shore, same on the South Shore, on the West Bank. Now heading down toward Lafitte, we're seeing those heavy storms and lots of wind and rain moving eastward. Also, we're still under a tornado watch. In effect, that is until 3 in the morning. But likely, as the storms move eastward, we will begin to start peeling off some of these parishes from the west to the east. So I would think right now it is 11:46. I would think in the next hour, we're going to start peeling off from Baton Rouge, heading over toward areas of St. Tangipahoa Parish. But for right now, we're keeping you in that tornado warning that's in effect. But slowly but surely, the heavier rain is moving away from you. But if you live in Slidell, it's just getting to you right now. In the city, to the West Bank, New Orleans East, very heavy storms, West Bank, Harvey, Marrero, Gretna, Timberlane, big storms. Heading over toward regions of Houma, Thibodaux, some big storms as well. So lots of lightning. We're taking power hits all over the place here at Fox 8. Generators on, so we should be with you without any major issue at all, maybe a flash or two, but nevertheless, strong winds, lots of lightning. Chances are we do have some power outages out with these storms. So, Amber, I'm going to toss it back to you. I'm going to check energy, kind of see what's going on with it. But so let's take Amber on camera one, guys, and I'm going to see what's going on as far as
I would not be surprised to see those numbers just skyrocket with energy with these winds that we're seeing with this. I also want to mention our friends down in Houma, Thibodaux, you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning. You were out of that one warning that just pushed to the east of you, but this batch is moving over you right now, not deemed as severe, but it is a pretty strong storm there moving again through Thibodaux and through Houma. But again, Lafitte, folks in Lafitte, you're feeling the strong winds. That's now pushing off towards the the east. Folks in New Orleans still having the strong winds and the really heavy rain there, but luckily, like Bruce was saying, this is moving quick. This has been moving at about 50, 55 miles per hour, and again, still seeing evidence of some very strong winds. Up towards the north here, I did just get some notifications from the causeway. Of course, there are restrictions there, understandably so. Very heavy rainfall, torrential rainfall down I-10, up the causeway, down I-12 as well. On the North Shore, these boxes, these severe thunderstorm watch boxes, this is, of course, because of those strong winds. This is until 12:30, and the one that's for the metro, that's going to be until about midnight. So we've got about 10 more minutes left for the severe thunderstorm warning that's for the metro and south of there. That's going to cover Lafitte as well. I could see that getting extended to the east there just a bit, especially the tail end of that down towards Lafitte here. So this larger box here is until about 12 o'clock, and on the North Shore, this is until 12:30. But if you're in Slidell, if you're in Picayune, you haven't seen the strongest winds make its way to you just yet. These storms have the possibility of having winds of up to 70 and possibly 80 miles per hour. Bogalusa, you're right there on the edge of these strong storms. You're not in a severe thunderstorm warning. That's the good news here. Bogalusa just north of the strongest of the line. But I do want to mention that these red lines that you're seeing, there's a lot going on this map. This is going to be your tornado watch box. That means we're just watching for the potential, not seeing any evidence of any tornadoes like we did earlier. We did see one west of Laplace. That's the good news. That's until 3 a.m. We do anticipate some of our parishes off towards the west to get taken out of this. And then we have another tornado watch box for the Mississippi Gulf Coast as well. So there's a lot going on here with this line, but again, just in the last few minutes, this has really pushed to the east rather quickly. Still seeing evidence of very strong winds down towards Lafitte. The good news is a lot of that's moving out into the marshy areas. The bad news is folks in Lafitte and Cutoff getting quite a bit of rain as well. We still have a lot of warnings and things, a lot of bells and whistles going off telling us that there's a lot going on.
So Amber, let's take Viper live if we can, and we'll watch that. I'm going to talk about some of the power outages. I'm looking at the outage map right now from Vintage over in Kenner, all the way to Joe Yenny, to 44th, to Galen, all the way to the Wilson Canal and Elmwood Canal. We have around 450 outages in the entire area from that point, from basically the drainage canal on the western edge all the way to the Wilson Canal. So the entire region of the lakefront is completely out in that area. Then we have another large area here, looking toward the Westgate area. Westgate, Veterans, over to West Napoleon, from Roosevelt all the way to David Drive. All of those homes are completely out of power at this point. As we come a little bit closer in, we can show you here right around areas of Veterans near the old Big Lots, as well as Veterans and Park Manor, where the post office is, if you know that area by Lafreniere Park. That entire area is completely out. And then another large area coming in right around, Airline Highway, from basically the entire area from just east of River Ridge all the way on towards Williams Boulevard. So that's on the riverside too. So we just have a lot of outages here. On the New Orleans area, we're looking at right around the old Jefferson Heights, rather, as we start moving off to the east. A lot of homes in that area without power at this point. And once again, in the city itself, we have a very large pocket right along Martin Luther King Boulevard to Toledano, over to Claiborne. That whole area at this point is without power. So we are looking at likely well over 1,000 without power at this point. And of course, with those winds, certainly that is a major issue. So we're still under the gun. Let's broaden out a little bit, Amber. We'll kind of do a reset on the radar to kind of show you where we are and what's going on. Now, fortunately, we're seeing pretty much on the 55 side of Tangipahoa Parish and south, most of that activity is basically light rain. So the heavier rain's now moving from the western edge of Washington and St. Tammany eastward. So still in Covington, Sun, Bush, Bogalusa, Slidell, you have probably another 30 to 40 minutes of this. It's going to be really heavy with those gusty winds. And also notice, as we approach Laplace and also Metairie and Kenner, let's focus into that area on the metro, most highly populated area. You can certainly see that all the heavier rains are moving pretty much east of the causeway into Gentilly, Barrero, and eastward toward New Orleans East and Michoud, down to Miro and Belle Chasse and Estelle. So we're slowly but surely, some still light to moderate, maybe a downpour, but the worst of it is now moving out of Metairie and Kenner, and the winds are just going to collapse basically to near zero. We're not going to see any major issues at all. But Des Allemands down to Boutte, still some of that heavy rainfall. Here's Chef Mentor over to Lake Catherine, heavy rainfall, and even around Waveland, some of the viewers over there, we are over there in Waveland toward Bay St. Louis too. Let's kind of show what's happening on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Amber, if we can, just to include them. Here's Kill, Mississippi, heading off toward Picayune, still some of that heavy rainfall. Pearl River, Morgan Bluff, Ozona, Nicholson, we're in the Fox 8 viewing area in these regions here, and you're still getting ready to see the heavy rain with you, but moving in very quickly as we speak. So we do have some more warnings, or are those just extensions, Amber? Let's see.
Back out here so we can get a better view.
Let's see here.
Okay, this was actually trimming off part of that warning that was covering the metro here. So
you
can see that it's kind of backed off a little bit, still covering parts of Orleans Parish that wouldn't be under the severe part, Kenner, but still kind of trimmed off a little bit of that off towards the west. So if you can see here, we've got part of this box here that was off towards the west. This has been trimmed off a little bit. So Orleans Parish still under this warning here. And let me give you the timing. Well, that's still about 12 o'clock. So we have just about 6 minutes left on the warning for Orleans Parish. We'll see if that gets extended. And then to the North Shore here, still watching this larger polygon for the North Shore that's going to include Covington, that's leaving you just east of Pearl River. Pearl River is just moving into your neck of the woods. This is until 12:30. I do anticipate this to all get shifted to the east towards the Kill, towards Bay St. Louis, and probably get extended there. But to the south here, it looks like the metro, your severe thunderstorms, your severe really qualities of your storms pushing over Chef Mentor, pushing into Slidell. Folks in Slidell probably waking up to, if they were sleeping, waking up to a lot of lightning. Lake Catherine, also the Wrigley's, seeing that really heavy rain kind of moving over that neck of the woods. But if you're in the city and you were hearing a lot of that heavy torrential downpours, the good news is a lot of this is starting to push out of here. Something else I've been checking is Streetwise, and something that's telling to us is how fast this is moving. I'm not seeing a ton of reported street flooding, which tells us that, you know, this is moving quick enough that that's probably helping to mitigate that flood risk here. Seeing the Downman underpass that is closed, but of course we know this list can rise a little bit as time goes on. We have a lot of water rushing through the streets here, so we'll watch that for you intently. But this severe thunderstorm warning goes all the way down towards Lafourche, east of Lockport. Lockport, you've got a pretty strong storm over you, but you're not actually under the warning. That warning is a pretty interesting polygon, kind of taking this long line here just north of Cutoff. Lafitte, right in the middle of this. You've got a few more minutes before the edge of the strongest moves out of here towards Hopedale. Hopedale, you're not in the severe thunderstorm warning. I do anticipate this getting extended towards you, but still seeing evidence of some pretty strong winds with these storms as well. I do have another warning that I just want to briefly find out information for just to make sure that we're on top of the latest warnings. I think that was a marine warning that just came out. Let's see. Let
me see. I've been looking at some of the power outages too. Right now, we have a total of 2,418 outages in the metro. So we're pushing almost 2,500 outages.
And I would suspect that number may even climb.
Sure.
With how
actually, it's been climbing slowly but surely. So basically, I think the severe thunderstorm warning until 12:30, it's continuing on the North Shore. St. Tammany Parish, Southeastern Tangi, Hancock, Pearl River.
And it looks like that box just got taken, so Covington just got taken out of this. So this is still for St. Tammany Parish until, let me see what time that they extended this to. That's still, like you said, till 12:30.
Yeah.
So over Slidell, wind gusts as high as 70 miles per hour, certainly possible with this. You could see some small hail, although we haven't been picking up any hail on the radar from these storms. Let me put this, let me stop this so I can kind of give you the latest. When I stop it, it shows you exactly where everything is. So folks in Houma have been getting battered with rain, but you're not under anything severe. Also, this storm down towards the south that's going to encompass the metro. This is going to end in about 3 minutes. We have 3 minutes on this. I expect the southern end of this to get extended to the east. It is going into the marsh. That's the good news. Folks up towards St. Tammany Parish, if you're in Slidell, you just started seeing the heaviest of the wind and the rain. You got a little bit longer here. The good news is, again, this is moving pretty fast. They've been moving around 45, 55 miles per hour, but it's headed towards the Kill, headed towards Stennis, Pearl River, Picayune, these areas here that have been seeing some pretty nasty weather over the last month or so. Under the gun again for some strong winds up to 70 and 80 miles per hour. And I believe, Bruce, you might have some new information?
We do. Flash flood warning basically in the area, let's see, from St. Tammany, also Washington Parish, Hancock County, putting out a flash flood warning now until 2:45 a.m. So, I mean, that's kind of a long-winded and a long, fused type warning, but nevertheless, we're still seeing these heavy storms moving in. So, no surprise that we're seeing these warnings, but until 2:45, that may be a little bit long, but for the next at least 60 to 90 minutes, I would say we could see some ponding on some of the roadways. I'm looking at my weather station at my house, Amber, and I am in Metairie, not too far off of West Esplanade and Transcontinental, that area. 1.28 at my home in Metairie.
Okay.
And again, the worst of it is now moving east of my home. So that's pretty good. Now, Zach up toward Beatico, 1.75 inches. So again, Zach is more kind of in this area here. So Zach coming in with just under 2 inches, but the worst is over. So, we've been talking about this, Amber. This is a fast-moving system. So yes, you get ponding on the roadways, but it's moving so fast, between 1 and 2 inches in an hour, that can cause some issues. But again, if the pumps are running and all that is working the way it should, even if you get a little flooding, everything's moving eastward. And I checked Streetwise, you checked Streetwise as well, and at this point we didn't see any really reports of any flooding, even under underpasses, which is certainly great news. I mean, look at Covington. You're right on the cusp now of the heavier rain moving away from you. Some of that light rain we talked about along I-55 toward Laplace, Metairie, and Kenner. We are still seeing some light rain, but the worst of that is over. Moving in now east of Bonneville toward the uptown area, the Garden District, and then toward New Orleans East and down toward Lafitte and Cutoff. Still some of that very heavy rain is continuing. So let's see if we have another warning that just came in, or is that an extension?
I think that might have been an extension of this line down towards the south. It's going to include Port Sulphur now. It looks like this one line that was down towards, that encompassed Lafitte. It did not before encompass Cutoff. Cutoff, you're under that, but you're right on the edge of that strong storm. Yeah, severe thunderstorm warning, St. Bernard Parish, also Orleans Parish, Central Jefferson, and also areas of, Plaquemines Parish. Saying strong storms moving in, some wind gust up to 80 miles per hour, as well as penny-sized hail. So certainly that is an impact we've been seeing. Now, New Orleans, Chalmette, Cutoff, Galliano, Harvey, Eastern Orleans, Timberlane, Belle Chase, Port Sulphur, LaRose, Gretna, Jean Lafitte, Lake Catherine, Poydras, Myrtle Grove, Pointe-à-la-Hache, Violet, Terrytown, Miro, and Lafitte. So again, all these areas here under the gun with a severe thunderstorm warning. And right on top of you is a lot of heavy rainfall. Put on the lightning if we can real quick, please, Amber, and let's kind of see what we're doing here. I mean, still, the lightning strikes have come down substantially. I mean, we were well over, 1,300, Amber? Oh, yeah.
Now we're down to, under 600. So still a lot of lightning in these areas, but these heavy rains are continuing. As a result, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for St. Bernard, for Orleans on that southeastern edge, Central Jefferson. Central, that means bringing it farther south, basically toward Lafitte. Those areas, central. Southern would be around Grand Isle. So those regions really more so now south of the city. These are moving kind of south and east. The line is moving more eastward. So all this is really beginning to move away from us, in which is a great thing. Fortunately, it's not training or back building, as we say. Back building means storms develop, and on the back end, more develop and move in. Back building again on the back end and move in. So when you get that, that's when you can really get some major flooding. But these storms are not doing it. The main push is off to the east and down to the southeast. So we are seeing a really big improvement, basically right on the border, coming in from central areas of St. Tammany into Washington, westward toward Tangipahoa. Much better weather. When I say that, yeah, it's still rainy. You're seeing some lightning likely, but the heavy rain is done on the western side of Lake Pontchartrain. It's done. The causeway, heaviest rain now is east of the causeway, moving in towards Slidell. Now the twin spans, getting dumped on right now. Some really heavy blinding rains on the twin spans. Also the Highway 90 bridge, some big storms over Lake Pontchartrain on that eastern side heading over towards Slidell into Mississippi. But you'll notice from the city itself, we're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel as all the heavy rain is moving just now away from the Garden District in Uptown in the next few minutes. And Metairie and Kenner, a few downpours, but the worst of it is now beginning to pretty much settle down. So we do see a lot of power outages. And again, I'm going to put on my glasses here and let's see what we got. Joe Yenny Boulevard from Vintage all the way down to the Wilson Canal, that is completely out. Driftwood, a large portion of that is out. That's off of West Esplanade, off of Veterans as well. We also have coming in around Lafreniere Park, major outages in that area, basically from West Napoleon all the way to I-10. And in the city itself, we're seeing quite a bit of outages as well coming in throughout parts of the Uptown area, as well as